My name is Britton Leblanc. I started coming to fellowship in early December of last year. My story is a little different than most because my whole life I went to Catholic church and Catholic school. I learned over time to simply go through the motions and knew many prayers by heart. However, these practices did not teach me to have a relationship with Christ. I thought my entire life that the more good I did, the closer I could get to earning Jesus' favor. This mindset that I had changed when I got plugged into fellowship. A few friends invited me to come to fellowship at the end of last year. I quickly grew close with two kids in particular, Cade Reynolds and Will Zimmerman. They immediately began to mentor me and encourage me to read and study the Bible. Clayton and Pete also began inviting me to things more often. Sometime during this process, I got asked to give a speech for my track team, and I chose 2 Timothy chapter 4 to be the center of my message. I encouraged my teammates to dive into the Word of God because it was so powerful in my life. From then on, I began to grow quickly and spent the last few months of high school getting closer to God and getting plugged into fellowship. Side note, the friends I've made here last a lifetime, and for that, I'm forever grateful. I went into camp with a feeling something big was going to happen. On Monday at camp, Pastor Brian spoke on looking up and looking down. First, to see God's glory in creation, and second, to see God's desires for his people in his word. On Tuesday at camp, Pastor Brian spoke about how to know if we are saved. Through a persevering faith, a love for God, a love for his people, and faithful obedience, Brian declared that people like me could be saved. Being saved was a foreign concept before I came to fellowship. But in that moment, I knew that I desired to be in an intimate relationship with Christ and live according to his word. I also came to the realization in that moment that there was nothing I could do to pay the debt of my sin and earn my salvation. Because of this, I went to talk with Clayton and was ready to accept Jesus. I did, in fact, give my life to Christ on that day, July 12th, 2022. Lastly, I want to emphasize how much more full I felt in worship after having that salvation conversation with Clayton. I felt like I finally knew God rather than just knowing about God. I put my hands up and was able to surrender everything I had been holding on to. I'll leave y'all with this. God truly changed my life and can change yours too.